Let's move on to another stream of subjects with physics, chemistry, and biology. Now, usually, students and parents tend to think that this is one stream that allows students to only go for medical careers. While it does open up a lot more other options. The most common career option that most students look for with PCB is allied medical sciences and medical sciences. In fact, this has so much been so that this entire stream has now been called as medical stream, and the PCM stream has now been called the non-medical stream. While many students and parents tend to think that PCB alone offers medical sciences as a career, let's look at what are the different types of career options with medical sciences itself. Of course, the common entrance exam for all medical courses today in India, which includes your MBBS, Ayurveda, Siddha, naturopathy, physiotherapy, nursing in certain colleges as well, and even in certain colleges like the IISc in Bangalore that have eligibility criteria of either going in through JEE Advanced or NEET or KVPY. Let's talk about some of the options within medical sciences. Of course, MBBS is the most common option that many students want to look at because that is a course that takes them through becoming a doctor. However, you have courses in veterinary science and dentistry as well that could take you to similar areas too. Unfortunately, in India, the number of seats that are available are far lesser than the number of students who apply for the course. If you look at 2020's data, almost 15 lakh students sat for the NEET exam. However, there are only 77,000 MBBS seats. What that tells you is that there are a lot of students who take the NEET exam but probably don't get a seat at all. It's important to help them understand the value of the other allied medical courses as well. So some of these medical courses, like I said earlier, was veterinary sciences, dentistry, Ayurveda, Siddha, naturopathy, physiotherapy, audio and speech therapy. Now let's look at these options that are detailed out on the career portal.
Welcome back to the portal. Now looking at the next field, which is under physics, chemistry and biology, saying that it is one of the most popular options is an understatement. If you look at the kind of career opportunities mentioned under allied medical or paramedical sciences as well, you will see a whole list of options mentioned there. Now, one of the reasons why it is clustered into two different areas, medical sciences and allied medical sciences, is because of the sheer number of options available here are quite vast, and it would be visually quite overwhelming to look at all of these options together. Now, let's look at general physician or a doctor. Under medicine, you have a lot of specialization areas that could be pursued after one completes the undergraduate degree, which is MBBS, for which, of course, the subject combinations required in class 11th and 12th is physics, chemistry, and bio. One could look at psychiatry, gynecology, medical surgeon. You'll find some of these career options also mentioned here under the specializations. So you can simply type down these options here in the search bar, and you would be able to find these specializations too. Now, the most common entrance exam for medical, for Ayurveda, Unani, yoga, and naturopathy would be through NEET, which is the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, which is conducted by the National Testing Agency. Students can also look at other allied opportunities given that the number of seats for MBBS in India are limited to only 77,000. However, the number of people who apply for the NEET exam every year exceeds 12 or 13 lakhs. So, homeopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani are few of the options that the student can choose from. Apart from that, there are other careers as well in audiology, cardiovascular technology, and this could be something that a student who has a high interest in curing people and working in the medical field in healthcare could also look at. Now, for example, if you're looking at a career as an Ayurvedic doctor, while we all know the entrance exam is the same, it remains to be NEET. It is important to look at the type of pathways in case a student wishes to pursue the healthcare sector in any form. Now, one of the reasons I'm discussing this is because the MBBS program tends to be very common, an Ayurvedic doctor is an up and coming career option that more and more students are opting for today. Given the amount of competition that is available, given the amount of competition that is already there in MBBS. So, dentistry, veterinary science are also other courses that students can pursue after taking the NEET exam and if they qualify with their ranks. The monthly earnings are also mentioned here. The amount of expenses from minimum to maximum are quite varied because the government aided institutions are much cheaper than the private institutions in India. The future prospects have always been very stable because, like we mentioned much earlier, healthcare, food, education, agriculture are few areas which have tremendous amounts of scope and are dependent on population size. Now, as long as there is a population increase, you would always have a demand for these aspects. So, the kind of competencies required would be someone who is investigative and curious, someone who's realistic, who likes working with their hands, and also social, who likes working for people and with them. The abilities also are mentioned here in detail, and the skills and personality are mentioned here too. So, we've discussed this because this is some of the options that you can mention to students as well. However, if students do not get into these areas, medicine is not the only career option that is there with physics, chemistry, and biology. You would see other courses as well for students who like botany, who like zoology, who like research, and we will move on to some of those areas now.
Moving on to the next career with physics, chemistry, and bio, you would remember, like I mentioned earlier, that there are few careers that have an immense amount of scope, which was education, food, and healthcare. We talked about healthcare already. We're moving into food. Now, agriculture is one such space that you would see applications in the length and breadth of the country. As long as there are people, there's a necessity for food. And it's an interesting space that is open to you from both physics, chemistry, and bio. And if you look at the ICAR entrance exam, that has an opportunity for both for students from physics, chemistry, and bio, and also for students from physics, chemistry, and maths. So you have two different entrance exams that can get you into a BSc in agricultural sciences. Apart from the BSc in agricultural sciences, you also have courses in horticultural sciences, dairy farming and dairy technology, and animal farming and fisheries as well. So let's look at the career portal to understand some of these options a little better.
Now, looking at the careers that are under physics, chemistry, and bio, we are looking at one of those such options which has one of the highest scopes amongst many other career opportunities. When looking at agricultural sciences, India has a larger number of institutions in agriculture across the world. And when you're looking at an entrance exam like ICAR, and we will discuss that in the next few seconds, when you look at the options available in agricultural sciences, of course, the pathway is between BSc Agriculture and MSc Agriculture, and one needs to keep physics, chemistry, and biology in 11th and 12th. However, the ICAR entrance exam that I mentioned, that could also allow students from physics, chemistry, and maths to take a separate paper in ICAR and apply for agriculture. One could also do a BSc in food sciences after doing a physics, chemistry, and math in 11th and 12th, or physics, chemistry, and bio in 11th and 12th. The scope of earnings are pretty high, though at the entry level and the junior level, it doesn't pick up very soon. But for an ICAR scientist, it's between 57 to 68,000 per month, and these are based on actual data on the ground. The amount of expenses could range from 80,000 to about 6 lakhs. The future prospects have always been very stable, and there are various specialization areas that one could look at, ranging from agricultural biochemist to an agricultural biotechnologist, agricultural economist, floriculturalist, crop scientist, food and vegetable scientist, dairy farming, and so on. The educational requirements would be ranging from 16 years to 23 years. And where the name of the entrance exam for most colleges in India is ICAR, you may have some colleges that would consider the 12th marks and would have their own entrance exams too, though ICAR is the most common one that is available. There are some, of course, that would look at the KVPY or the Kishore Vigyanik Prosthahan Yojana test also as an eligibility criteria to get into food sciences. Now, in food sciences, one could also look at food technology at the master's after completing any graduation in science. It could be a BTech or a BSc, and then pursue food technology. The competencies required, one has to be investigative and curious, realistic to be able to love working with their hands, and conventional to be able to follow set principles and patterns. The work activities are also mentioned here. Now, when you look at specialization areas to be able to explain to students which are the areas of work, looking at an example of an agricultural economist, uh, they tend to understand how the optimization of production and of distribution of food grains could be done. Subsequently, you also have a specialization area like a communication expert that focuses on communication and learning about agricultural related information among agricultural stakeholders like farmers and distributors and everyone who's important in or necessary in the supply chain. So these events usually happen which are taken over by government agencies and non-government agencies as well that help farmers to grow crops in a far more efficient manner.
Moving on to another area, which perhaps we all need, which is fitness and well-being. So there are careers in nutritional sciences, in fitness-based sciences, and well-being, but one could go for from a background in physics, chemistry, and bio. It's not only looking at how does one keep themselves fit, but the kind of food systems that go inside, and attaching that with the other sciences that we spoke about earlier, which was agricultural sciences and also food technology. So whether you're looking at dietetics or nutritional sciences or fitness-based sciences, you can look at a career in any of these areas as long as you have biology, chemistry, and physics as a subject. And you can look at some of the courses that are available to you on Career Portal itself.
We've been discussing careers in nutrition, fitness, and well-being. We can look at fitness instructor or gym instructor or nutritionist on the search option here. You'd find some of these careers interspersed between fitness and well-being, sports and exercise scientist, sports coach and sports manager, along with psychologist, sports medicine consultant, and you'd find science and non-science areas coming in together. So you'd find careers that require students coming in from scientific backgrounds to be able to work in fitness, in dietetics, and nutrition. So you'd find careers that are in fitness which do not require a background in sciences, and you would also have areas like dietetics or nutrition where a background in sciences is important. Now, going into the specialization tracks, you could simply scroll down for a lot more information there. But the opportunities have grown over the years. Now, for dietetics, we have seen how important it is in everyday life because of challenging lifestyles, of change in food and climate. We have seen that impacting the kind of food that we consume and the kind of lifestyles we lead, given the type of work that we do has also evolved over time. Now, you could find roles like a nutritionist or public health inspector or a consultant nutritionist or a food inspection officer, a community health worker, or a diabetic educator. These are individuals who go from community to community talking about good health practices to be able to ensure that people from all strata of society have enough information to take care of themselves. For example, the last time there was a dengue break in your locality, you would find that there are systems in place to educate the society about the same. What are the things that we might need to do to avoid the spread of this disease? We've also seen that happen very extensively during the COVID pandemic. Now, the kind of competencies required are mentioned here, but we'll talk about the job opportunities in more detail first. Of course, based on these type of specialization areas and job opportunities, there are other abilities like deductive reasoning, public speaking skills, primarily for careers that you will have to be an educator or a public health advisor, where you're dealing with a group of people and educating them about such practices. Now, the earning capacities are mentioned here. However, you would notice that the starting salaries in this space are quite low, but the kind of scope of work and the impact that an individual makes would be quite high at the same time. The reason why we are discussing this is it is important to give a realistic picture to students before they embark on a journey on planning for the careers.
Now, on the beginning of the discussion on the careers on sciences, I had mentioned that there are two major areas of work, which is application sciences and research. Now, while I was talking about agriculture, fitness and well-being, and food technology, these are few areas that fall under research-based sciences as well. So we'll look at some of the other options like biotechnology. Now, within biotechnology, while it's one of the oldest sciences on planet Earth, you would see biotechnology being used on a daily basis in households starting from the making of butter to curd to some of the beverages that have been fermented as well. So, if you look at biotechnology as a whole, it has four major areas of research: white biotechnology, which talks about sustainability; red biotech, that talks about healthcare; blue, that talks about ocean sciences and marine sciences; and green, that talks about agricultural technology. So, any form of research that falls under these four areas falls under the ambit of biotechnology. Biotechnology is a course that one could go for both after PCB as a BSc biotechnology course, and if you have mathematics as a subject, a student can pursue a BTech in biotechnology as well. Let's look at some of these options alongside some other research-based areas on the career portal.
We're now going to discuss certain parts which are interdisciplinary areas in sciences, specifically in research. Given that in research we have seen all the forms of sciences intertwined. So one such area is biotechnology. Now we're looking at biotechnology, which is an interdisciplinary area. Students from both physics, chemistry, and mathematics background and physics, chemistry, and bio backgrounds can pursue this course. There are typically four areas of specializations in biotechnology. White biotech is in sustainability, red is in healthcare, green biotechnology is in agriculture, and blue is in ocean or marine life. And there are, of course, further subdivisions in research as well. Why are we talking about biotechnology as an interdisciplinary area? Is because students from PCM can pursue a BTech in biotechnology, as you can see here. Now for BTech, physics, chemistry, and maths in 11th and 12th is a mandatory. Now for BTech, physics, chemistry, and maths is mandatory. For BSc biotechnology, students can study physics, chemistry, and bio. The monthly earnings are mentioned here as well. Like we mentioned, under green, we're looking at agricultural biotechnology. You have industrial biotechnology, food, marine, pharmaceutical, environmental, plant, animal, genetics, genomics. The educational requirements range from 16 to 26 years, given that it's a research-based career, hence a master's and PhDs are good to have. The type of job opportunities available are mentioned here, the kind of institutes that would take you in as a professor or a research associate, the kind of work environment, the competencies required. One needs to be investigative and curious, of course, realistic to be able to work with your hands, and the type of work activities required. Now, essentially, biotechnology, agriculture, nanotechnology, all of these courses are into research and are interdisciplinary areas. Students can pursue a physics, chemistry, maths in 11th and 12th, a physics, chemistry, bio, or a math and bio with physics and chemistry combination as well, if that is available at their schools. We have seen more and more students who are interested in research-based spaces typically tend to look at all the science subjects together, and that does help them prepare for these type of careers better. However, if one is sure that one wants to go into a BTech Biotech course, which is a 4-year degree program, and it's an engineering degree, as opposed to a three years BSc, which is a Bachelor's in Sciences, the type of work opportunities available are slightly different between the two, which is why it is preferable to keep mathematics so that further specializations like bioinformatics is open.